Welcome to Raleigh, North Carolina, where tonight the Carolina Skyhawks and Pittsburgh Riverhogs try to do what has felt very difficult to do much of this season, Stephen Mullinex, and that is to get a win. Both teams are 1-4. They need this one badly tonight, and we're going to see who's going to come away with a victory here tonight.
Yeah, Cam, a pleasure to be on with you after a very long hiatus by both of us working together. Anyway, it's great to be back on the mic with you and in person, I might say, which is a little bit strange for us. But finally, the gang is back together again. Let's focus now on these two teams. Yes, Cam, as the halfway point in the season approaches, it feels like this game could be make or break for one of these franchises. Both coming into this game 1-4, maybe their best opportunity here. One for Pittsburgh to get off the snide a bit, and two for Carolina to actually start finding their footing with a new offensive coordinator under the hood, still trying to find the perfect playbook to utilize all these different weapons.
1-4 Carolina, 1-4 Pittsburgh, and we determined, Stephen, that the last time we called a game in person together was the season 11 championship game at Media Tech Institute a long time ago, but we're here tonight, season 26, the midway point of the season. Malone Brown, kick it, we are underway, and Pittsburgh will get the opening kickoff from the 2-yard line. On the return, breaking a tackle out past the 28 to the 29, Doug Britton on that return. So here comes Ace Fennick. He is number 1 in the league in touchdown passes with 11 through the first 5 games.
Yeah, 11 of those touchdown scoring strikes, 8 interceptions. As you mentioned, number 1 in the league, and a litany of weapons, not only in his receiver core, but also in the backfield. So this is a stacked Pittsburgh team that is coming here into Carolina, hoping to get their second win of the season.
They'll start with 2 in the backfield as the Riverhogs send Ziggy Ronick in motion. Davidson Joseph following in the formation. Fennick dropping a throw, looking for Ronick, and Joseph almost off the deflection. Caught that one in double coverage. Ace tried to squeeze that one through and was unable to get it there.
Yeah, Cam, looked like he had a wide open running back there out in the flat, but opted to go with the more difficult pass. And the defender and the defense themselves were ready for that, knocking the ball away.
Second down and 10, Fennick. 2 to the left of the center, and that is a completion and a broken tackle. Ziggy down the field gets a block, and Joseph saves the touchdown. Ronick with the catch. He is 3rd in the league in receptions with 39 through the first 5 weeks.
Yes, 39 receptions, 441 yards, and 4 touchdowns. But here what's most impressive is that little juke we saw right there, able to break off the defender. And Cam, we've always said this, if you're able to break that first tackle, break off that first defender, it usually results in a lot of additional yards, and there a lot of yak for Holonik.
Again, I formation here for Pittsburgh at the Carolina 39-yard line. Fennick going to throw again, 3rd straight time. That pass is caught. This one, Doug Britton down to the Carolina 22, and Pittsburgh's making it snappy with their offense tonight. They're 16th in the league in rushing attempts, but 9th in the league in passing attempts.
And they clearly want to do one of those two things right now. They have been just pass, pass, pass. Not uncommon to see this in the league, but look, when you're coming into an away stadium, right, you're having to come in, you're fighting not only the team in front of you, but the crowd. Man, the first thing you want to do is hit the King Kong in the mouth, right? So come out with a lot of passing plays and go dot, dot, dot down to the field.
They'll flip it now, toss it out to Belitz, and Belitz is dragged down for just a 2-yard gain. The rest of this Riverhogs offense includes Mike Churchill in the backfield, along with fullback Keith Wheeler, Toby Bonnets, Deuce Fennick, Ziggy Ronick, Doug Britton are the receivers. Ben Harrison, Levy Lease at tight end. Landon Stone, Taylor Menor, Rachel Menor, and Bruce White are on the line. Impact players there. Fennick in the yellow sleeves, stiff arm, and slides down to the 17-yard line to avoid contact. We'll set up a 3rd and 4.
And that pass rush there by Carolina getting home, getting Fennick uncomfortable, not able to bring him down in the backfield as he plays a little hero ball there with the stiff arm. Gives him an opportunity here.
Fennick on 3rd and 4, looking in the end zone, wide open. Touchdown, Riverhogs, and that is Ziggy Ronick with the score on his 3rd target of the drive. Pittsburgh's on the board first impressively.
Yeah, third target of this game already, 5th touchdown on the season. And look, they made it look easy. It makes you wonder, man, how are they 1-4? Well, one of the answers to that question is for Pittsburgh that they have the #1 toughest schedule so far this season. They've had to play some heavyweights, Cam, and they've had some not just even close, really close games, and landed them with this 1-4 record, but they are surely better than that 1-4 record, and I think they're showing it here.
Otis Boudreau with that extra point. They've had to take on the only undefeated team in the league, Houston. They lost 28-14 there. Then they took on the defending champs, lost only by 7, 27-20 to Vancouver. They had a wild game their last time out. They had a bye last week, but that wild game against the DC Dragons, which you were very familiar of, probably sweating bullets when that last pass went down the sideline, just hoping that the Dragons would make the tackle.
Yeah, we looked like we had them, and then all of a sudden they really exploded on us for a bunch of points there at the end of the game. So, and I think they're showing you right now how explosive they can be with that excellent first drive.
So now we'll get to see Mikael Pajak, and his first throw is a one-handed snag at the 37-yard line. That is Adam Banks. Both teams come out firing.
Yeah, and I'm surely now the pressure's on Carolina, right, to answer right back, and Pajak able to do so right out of the gate with a really nice throw and a better catch to bring that in the face of a defender. Just a solid way to start the game out. They just got to keep this going.
Pajak so far this season, 8th in the league in touchdowns with 7. He is 6th in the league in completion percentage, so he's been fairly efficient so far, and now it's Ike McBride on the carry, picking up 2. Riley Quintero is the starter at halfback. Carolina also has a pair of fullbacks, Harish Prasad and Mateo Pravado. The wide receivers are Chase Earl, Banks, and Chris Curtis. Tight ends, Jack Flash, Lili Nakai, and then on the line, a number of outstanding impact players we'll get to momentarily. 2nd down and 8. They'll hand off this time to Quintero. Breaking tackles past the 50. Riley Quintero down to the Pittsburgh 36-yard line. We were talking about this Quintero McBride dynamic over pregame lunch earlier today.
Yeah, you know, and McBride has almost twice the amount of carries as Quintero, but they almost have equal yardage. It just tells you that really I think McBride is more of the bruising back who gets those tough yards, and Quintero is more of the fireworks, like the speedster type combination of that lightning and thunder that they have. And I think they illustrated that perfectly in the last 2 plays.
First down for Carolina. They're moving the football to the Pittsburgh 36-yard line. Banks goes in motion for the Skyhawks. He is being chased by Jermaine Menefield across the formation. This is Pajak dropping to throw. That pass is incomplete, and lucky Pittsburgh did not get waved with a flag. The Carolina impact players on that line: Brookie Burr, Kate Palmer, Ricky Rigatoni, Chris Cross, and Brunter Grayjam. 7 total female players on this Carolina Skyhawks squad, most in the league.
Amazing, yes. And we love when you know there are so much diversity in this league. That's what the league is here, right? For people that maybe not necessarily don't get the chance to fulfill their football dreams, can do it right here in the SFL.
Of course, it's Women's History Month this month, and Pittsburgh's got 4 ladies themselves: Taylor Menner, Rachel Menner, Odette Boudreau, and Ness Genko, along with Ida Lee, actually 5 for the Riverhogs. Okay, 3rd down and 10 for Carolina. Down 7-0. Pajak on the rollout, firing. That is incomplete. In tight coverage, looking for Chase Earl down the middle of the field. Menefield and company in coverage.
And a nice job there by Pittsburgh's defense to be there in coverage. Look, that's the bunch formation. Pajak rolls out towards the bunch itself, trying to really confuse the defense, but the defense was not fooled.
So Brown will punt it away, trying to pin Pittsburgh deep. And this is a shankopotamus. That goes sideways, out of bounds at the 21. And when you're a coach on the sideline and you see something like that happens with a special teams player, you think, why don't we just go for it?
Yeah, go for it, going for it on 4th down, or maybe kick a field goal to give the kicker a chance to maybe make a long field goal. That's what the thing I'd be begging the coach for if I was a kicker.
So Pittsburgh comes out with a single back 2 to the far side right of the formation, and they'll send Deuce Fennick in motion. a 15-yard punt, according to Ron Haynes and our stats truck. Ron Haynes and Rochelle Colston, the GOAT team of statisticians, with us tonight as Mike Churchill gets the carry for 4 yards.
Yeah, I actually think he got a little bit more than 4, but we'll see how that shakes out. But yeah, just a nice job. Now, look, Pittsburgh's diversity here in their offensive play calling started out this game really pass heavy, and now they're going back to the run.
2nd and 6. No, Fenech straight back, and he overthrew his intended target. That was nearly taken away by Rochelle Colston, pulling double duty tonight. It's 3rd and 6.
Yeah, look, that's a nice wrinkle, right? Typically a power formation, that I formation, coming out and use that more as maybe something that you could pass out of is a long-time strategy that we've had in this league, and nearly paid off there, but not quite.
3rd and long for Fenech, dropping a throw with an outside rush, and that pass was incomplete. It looked like Deuce Fenech and Ace Fenech somehow were not on the same page, even though they've been together all their lives.
And this is typical of maybe 1 and 4 teams, maybe not typical maybe of this Pittsburgh team, but they looked unstoppable in the first drive. In the second drive, they looked nothing like they did before. So consistency is what really some of the best SFL teams do, and I think that's why we see a lot of the top teams over and over again on the top of the standings. They're able to be consistent. And these two teams are still searching for that this season.
The margin between the top teams and the bottom teams is so small. Carolina has not had the toughest strength of schedule like Pittsburgh has, but they've had the 4th hardest schedule.
Really close.
And they played the Houston Headhunters closer than Pittsburgh did. They only lost by 2 to the undefeated Headhunters. And, I don't think either team thought that they would be here 1 and 4 at this point of the season.
No, nobody thinks they are. I mean, at the beginning of the season, everybody has hope. And you look at the rosters across the league, Cam, everybody has a right to have hope. It just, these rosters are so inflated with talent, and it really does feel like anybody can take a turn, and turn their seasons from maybe previous seasons around relatively easily. But the proof is in the pudding.
Doug Day makes his 2nd tackle on that last play, and Pajak rolls to his left, and finally Pittsburgh has been playing some really tight coverage. They get a little too tight as they're called for pass interference.
Yeah, and then, I don't know why it feels so early in this game, but it feels like Carolina kind of needed that break. Something to really help get them going, and this might be the spark that they need. But look, I really feel like this game is super important for Carolina. You're in prime time, right? You're on Monday night. The league is watching. And not only that, you're in your home stadium. This is where the season can turn for you.
That was Cain Vasquez on the coverage of Chase Earl, just running a go route and impeded the process there. That pass is caught on the outside by Privado, picking up 2 yards. This Pittsburgh defense has Odette Boudreau, Butch Menor, Bubba Bruiser, and Chad Guy Jr. on the line. Tommy Welbrock Busey, Doug Day, Brian Craven, and Dimitri Monzuma at linebacker. In the secondary, it's Ness Genkel, Jermaine Menefield, Tom Krieg, Corey Menor, Amante Dubois-Smith, and Cain Vasquez. Those final 3, these safeties. 2nd down and 8. That is Nakai going in motion from right to left with 5 on the play clock. 4:20 on the game clock here in the first quarter. A draw to Quintero and an absolute destructive pancake up front. Well, I think that was Brunter Grayjam.
Yeah, Cam, these draw plays, man, I'll tell you what, they are feast or famine for me. But when I see teams run it to perfection like that Carolina just did, man, it makes me want to put it in my playbook more, because those just look beautifully timed and almost untouched for the first 9 yards.
Another solid drive of the Skyhawks, trying to get points on this one. That's Ike McBride picking up 4 yards. McBride's 2nd carry now with 6 yards.
And it's clear what Carolina wants to do. They want to bring, I think they want to bring a more heavy, run-heavy type offense, but they want to sprinkle in some big pass plays as well. But down 7, they might be pressed to do one thing.
And off Quintero, picking up 4 more, so it'll be 3rd and short. This is where Carolina lives. 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, 1st down, keep it moving.
And that's where, as a coach, that's where you have your money plays. You've got to have your plays that you trust and that you love in these 3rd and short situations. Sometimes it's the player like McBride that you love in this situation.
McBride with those red shoes in the backfield. 3rd down and 2, 3 minutes to go. Carolina runs the 5th most times of any team in the league. They'll hand it off to Ike. Ike looking for some room, but the play is blown up. Big number, Butch Menor up front, just colliding with the offensive line and forcing a 39-yard field goal.
Yeah, and the trouble with having a favorite maybe play or player for those short situations is the defense can sometimes key in on that.
39-yarder swinging from right to left. That kick is good for the Skyhawks, and Carolina is on the board 7-3.
And I think if you're Carolina, I think there's a bit of a sigh of relief there. You got points on the board, based on what your defense has been able to do in the last drive, pretty confident now that maybe your defense can step up once again and squash what Pittsburgh started to be out really hot and maybe turn that tide for you a bit.
89 yards for Carolina, 75 for Pittsburgh. In the early going, on the return, up past almost got to the 30 again. Britton feels like he's just that close to breaking it. One of the best returners in league history.
Yeah, it has been for a very long time. And not just as a returner, Cam, an excellent wide receiver in this league. And, those weapons like him are very special. To be able to have a speedster on the outside, maybe have him as a nice slot receiver, and then an excellent returner. Man, those kind of triple threats, they're not everywhere in this league. So they're special.
That is Britton's 445th kick return all time, fourth most in SFL history, as Churchill does not get anywhere. He has 9. Does Britton 9 kick return touchdowns, sixth most all time. That tackle made by Stinson.
Wow, yeah, that's a great legacy here in this league. But to go back now to just a great defensive effort there for Carolina, forcing now, I think, Pittsburgh into more a passing attitude.
Second down and 10. Fennick going to drop the throw, and he overshoots his target again. Intercepted by Rochelle Colston, who was ready for it this time. And Fennick, since that opening first 3 completions, is now 0 for 4 with a pick.
Well, it makes sense, right? The woman who finds toxic waste in the middle of the field finds maybe a football or two here out in the middle of the field with an interception. But look, as good as she is, she's got to give credit to that pass rush, right? Making Fennick uncomfortable in the pocket is really the genesis of that play. And he overthrew his receiver, and there was old number 20 right there ready to pick up the spill. Rochelle
Colston's 67th interception of her career. That pass is caught over the middle. That is bravado. They're going to give him just enough for the first down, and you could say that was a toxic pass perhaps by Fennick as well.
That's excellent. Yes, absolutely. But look, let's talk a little bit about bravado at fullback, like one of the best fullbacks in this league. And man, what a thrill it must be for a quarterback to have an outlet and a security blanket like him to throw to.
A draw to Quintero was actually slowed down almost immediately. There's that feast or famine you talked about. I think that was Monzuma who got inside to slow him down, and that'll bring up 2nd and 9.
It's just that delay. You know what I mean? It's that delay of that can fool the defense, but in turn it can also allow them to fill those holes a lot quicker.
But you're risk averse. We've talked about that
I
too.
am.
Ike McBride with the carry, getting into the red zone. 3rd and 3 coming up for Carolina. Feeling a lot better about this quarter since the opening drive.
Absolutely. Almost guaranteed points here if they don't mess it up, right? But also, this is where you said they live, this 3rd and 3. I wonder what they're going to go with here.
They got Quintero in the backfield right now. Single back look. And they go draw. Quintero's got the first down to the 14-yard line, and Doug Day there to clean up that mess. He already has 5 tackles.
And, man, I mean, the guts to run that draw again and believe in it after you see how it just gets stuffed. A lot of guts there, but it works. I mean, the right call at the right time, that's what we're all striving for as coaches.
Day's 5 tackles so far. Hasn't filled the stat sheet just yet, but he certainly is filling the tackle column. The handoff goes to Ike McBride. It's going to be a busy night for these linebackers for Pittsburgh. That is a Welbrock Busey tackle to set up 2nd and 10, and that is the end of the first quarter of play. Pittsburgh 7, Carolina 3. We knew it would be a good one tonight. A pair of 1-4 teams desperate for a win right here on the Monday Night Spectacular. Aerial coverage of today's game is provided by Dag's DroneWorks aerial photography and videography services for real estate, events, marketing, and more. Learn more at dagsdroneworks.com. This drone outside the Natural Museum of Sciences, Mullinex, and as everyone knows, I am most certainly not a scientist.
Well, I mean, look, you're not really qualified for many jobs except this one. So I'd probably stick with your day job. Or your night job, I guess it is now.
It's day, afternoon, night, whenever I am called upon. At the 14-yard line of Pittsburgh, 3 receivers as Pajak drops to throw. He's got a decently clean pocket, but definitely not a clean end zone. Tons of white pants in the end zone there. 3rd down and 10 as that one is knocked away by Menner.
Pajak reminding me of a young Brett Favre. You remember him, Cam? A bit of a gunslinger, a chance taker. Like you said, not risk averse. In that sense, throwing it into a sea of white, hoping one of his blue guys comes down with it.
3rd down and 10. Pajak on a roll. Looking end zone. Doug Day with the initial deflection, and 3 different Riverhogs played hot potato with the football. Chris Curtis was the intended target, and the Skyhawks come up just a little bit short again.
Yeah, well, look, and the Skyhawks are doing, I think, a good thing in the fact that they're getting the quarterback out of the pocket to negate the pass rush, and then having him trying to find a receiver in the end zone. It's just that Pittsburgh's defense did a much better job of really flooding the end zone with players, and trying to get the ball through a sea of hands is difficult, especially as you get closer to the end zone, and it compresses all those players into one area.
Malone Brown, 126 for 139 in his career, 23rd best in SFL history in both those categories. That kick is good, and it's 7-6. Pittsburgh now leads by 1.
Carolina getting field goals, Pittsburgh getting touchdowns. That's not a formula for a win here in the SFL as of yet, but you get the sense that if Carolina can continue to get these kind of turnovers and take advantage of those opportunities with points, they're in a pretty good position.
Knee taken for Pittsburgh, so they will bring that back out to the 20. We made a post earlier in the week about the fact that the midseason break is coming up, and we still have plenty of things going on, but 11 days between one game to the next. But we do have season 12 of the minor league kicking off tomorrow night. Shout out to Ellie Diomas, JW Hartshorn, Alex West, everybody over there, the team and SFLM, all of the owners and all the new players that we'll be seeing for the first time on the field. It's always a good time of year.
And on top of that, I saw that post as well, Ken, that you put out, and there's a litany of things that you still have to do. You're not going to be taking this week off. There's plenty of things within the league that you're still trying to improve and work on, and those are going to get advanced during this next week. So while it may be a bye week for us, you're still on the clock, buddy.
Never let them know that your life gets any easier. That's the key. Blitz, no gain on the carry, so a 3rd and 5 coming up for Pittsburgh. They've been a little shaky on 3rd down here recently. 1 for 2, also at the pick.
Well, I like to think of it as Carolina's defense is turning things up a little bit. Maybe they corrected some of the mistakes from that first drive, and they're starting to pick them apart a bit.
3rd and 5, Fennick has not had a completion since that first drive. He will try here and does. Siggy Ronick down the sideline, spin move, and then pushed ahead into Carolina territory. 1st down, Riverhogs.
Yeah, just when you think you got them nailed down, they do something electric just like that. Again, both of these teams rolling out of the pocket on 3rd down, getting their quarterbacks away from pressure, and here Fennick just finds a perfect open target.
Fennick dumps this one off. That is Blitz in the open field, and he's got a 1st down. We saw that back in the, the 2018s of the SFL, just a little dump-off pass. And, I think football is cyclical, right, Stephen? Everything comes back around again, and not a lot of teams are defending those flats.
No, and I
right
think
there.
It's going to get back into I'd love to see it. I love the efficiency of it. I love making those running backs, your receivers out of the backfield. And I think, Florida has had a pretty good success doing it as well. Other people just haven't figured it out yet.
Fennick over the middle, caught by Ziggy, and that was Blitz's first reception of the season. Mike Churchill had 4, and fullback Keith Wheeler had 3 coming in.
Well, look, you're a 1-4 team, right? You're going to have to throw some things on the wall and see if it sticks. And one of those things might be more of those out of the backfield type passes and plays.
Pittsburgh on the move, 7:50 to go in the first half. 129 yards for the Riverhogs, 114 of those through the air, 7.6 yards per play. Carolina's defense has had a tricky night so far. Fennick with an unblocked man on his blind side wisely dumps that one to Ziggy, already his 5th catch, a pickup of 4.
You know, that's usually a staple of Pittsburgh's defense that I've seen over the last few games, is they like to get their defenders unblocked to the quarterback here, but Carolina taking the page out of their book.
18 sacks for Pittsburgh, second in the SFL this season. Wow, Britton was open, and I think Britton and Ziggy kind of ran into each other and disrupted that timing.
That, and I think also feeling the pressure just a little bit. I mean, another unblocked man coming out of the defense makes your quarterback rush pass. That's exactly the formula for that interception we saw earlier.
Just 6 sacks for Carolina, 17th in the SFL, only 4 teams worse. That is Ace stretching for the first down. The receiver going to be marked short. Saving a first down was Danny Stinson on 4th and inches, and that was Toby Bonnets with the catch. It'll force a 33-yard field goal, no challenge.
Well, good way for this Carolina defense to hold up there, limit them to a field goal try.
It's from 33, and Otis Boudreau's kick is good. 10-6 Pittsburgh on top of Carolina, and both of these teams, while they're not getting a ton of touchdowns, they certainly are moving the football productively in the first half.
Is that right? Yeah, absolutely right. And Pittsburgh got to be really happy with that drive. There was a bit of a defensive voodoo that was put on them for a couple of drives there in between the first drive and this one, and they seem to have broke that. Although they couldn't get into the end zone well enough to put points on the board. Let's see if it's enough.
Carolina 4.5-point underdogs tonight in a 50.5 over-under, and which is a little unusual for a Carolina Skyhawk game because Carolina is not known for scoring points in bunches. They have just 90 this season. Only 3 teams have fewer points, but Pittsburgh, boy, they love to score. And they can give up some points too.
Yeah, they love to score, and they get scored on. Averaging almost 26 points a game, but their defense is allowing over 28 points a game. So, but Carolina's the same way, averaging 18 points a game. Defense giving up nearly 27 points a game.
Wow.
So it's the defense is where I think that it's really going to make or break this team.
Quintero around the right side, picking up 9 yards. He's up to 56 yards on 7 carries quietly in the early going.
Yeah, and look, I think Quintero, I'm telling you what, this guy has been electric still. He had a breakout season a few seasons ago, and they're still trying to find this balance. You got a new offensive coordinator, right? So that he needs to find a balance between these 2 great running backs.
Man, and McBride just got stuffed. That was Brock Busey on the tackle. McBride's frustrated, saying, "Where's my running lane that Riley got on first down?"
Yeah, it's like block for one, don't block for the other. But a whole different, 2 different kind of backs, it feels like, they're coaching.
3rd and 2, they'll try Riley around the right side. That is just enough for a first down. Another tackle by Wellbrock. Wellbrock and Day now have combined for 9 of Pittsburgh's 16 tackles.
And again, I think, the thought of the offense is matriculate it down the field, right? Let's just get our first downs. We don't have to look all the way past the first down marker. Let's just get to that yellow line.
Ike on the draw, tackled by the yellow sleeves, picking up 6 yards on the carry, 2nd and 4. So we got SFLM starting tomorrow. We kick things back off in the SFL Friday, March 20th. Vancouver at Anchorage is our first game back, and that is a spicy one out west. Quintero going to come up short, so another 3rd and short. I think Carolina's pretty comfortable right now, hammering away at this run. 16 runs, 8 passes so far too.
Yeah, and you're really right. They live in this area. This is 3rd downs are so critical for them because it's not like it's a huge amount of yardage, but it's not short either.
3rd and short. We'll see if they stick with Riley on the ground. They do. Around the right side, Riley is hit just about at the line of scrimmage, maybe a 4th and a long one. Dubois Smith comes up from his safety position to make the play. We've seen a lot of 4th and 1s and 4th and inches tonight so far, and this one will result in a Carolina punt.
Yeah, when your blocker in front of you gets blown out like the way that we just saw in that play, good luck to the running back because there's a cruise missile heading your way and nothing in front of it.
This kick, I thought we might get it to die inside the 5, but it'll roll into the end zone with 4:03 to go. The other Friday games in Week 9, Bossier City, Lexington, Carolina goes to Los Angeles, an old rivalry there. Oklahoma City at Birmingham, a tough draw for Oklahoma City, Detroit and Birmingham. in back-to-back weeks. That's your Friday, March 20th slate when we return from break. Charles Doherty's back as analyst for our next Monday Night Spectacular in 2 weeks as Churchill gets the carry for a pickup of 2. Detroit at Arizona. Big one for the Scorpions, who are now 3-3.
Well, and I think a big one for Detroit as well, trying to make a statement against a team that has been awfully good in this league for a long time.
All right, so 10-6, Pittsburgh on top of the football, 3:43 to go in the first half. Fenech dropping a throw. That pass is deflected away. Stinson reaches up and gets a paw on it, third down.
Love to see how these defenses now are kind of chiming in, putting their stamp on this game. As we said, the defense has been the weak link out of these 2 phases of the game for them, and it's good to see them step up here.
Stinson adds a pass deflection to his 4 tackles so far tonight. Third down and 8 for Pittsburgh. Fenech's got a bunch off to the right. He's going to roll to the left, and Ace fires. That is complete. Down to the 40-yard line. First down. Ziggy Roenick once again with the reception.
You know, as a quarterback in this league, on third down, there's always usually one guy that you look at, the one guy that you know, or girl that are just going to bring it in, right? You just know the one you can rely on. It happens in the NFL. It happens here. And just old number 13 is reliable, and I think the quarterback's looking for number 13 in these clutch situations.
Keith Wheeler's Oregon Waves debut tomorrow night on the minor league as well. I just got a message from him as he's watching his Pittsburgh Riverhogs, the general manager of Pittsburgh, and obviously the fullback on this team. They give it off to Belitz, picking up 6, and there's sticks in there somewhere. All I could think of was Kathy Bates in that moment.
Yeah, it's a misery, all right.
You remember that line?
Yeah. Yeah.
Back in 1966. Pick up sticks. Ace Fenech dropping a throw. Oh, Britton had it with the one hand. Mike Ryan comes in to dislodge it. You don't often see that catch not being made, and Britton could not hang on.
Yeah, I mean, with the proposal of possibly being knocked probably to the ground, and probably had his air knocked out of him if he caught that ball, might have made a good decision there not to do so.
A lot of third downs for both teams. Pittsburgh is 4 of 5 as Fenech sheds a sack and throws a completion. Ziggy again having himself a half. That is reception number 7 for Roenick. He's up over 100 yards.
And Fenech is really zeroed in on him on third down. But really, Fenech, we're not going to get to see it in the replay here, but does an incredible job in the pocket. It looked like he was absolutely going to throw off the back foot, able to really stiff arm a defender away from him and give himself just enough time to find his old lucky number 13, right? Great individual effort by the quarterback.
Fenech now 10 of 17 for $168. Throws for the 18th time today, and that pass is incomplete. Second down and 10 coming up.
When you give Fenech time, he can pull off some amazing plays. It's when he's felt pressured in this game that we've seen the mistakes, we've seen the overthrows, or it feels like he goes a little bit too fast. He's out of rhythm. So I'm sure Carolina came into this game wanting to knock him out of rhythm. But, man, when he is given the time, he is as good as anyone in this league.
Fenech again to throw, and again Carolina brings the pressure to force the dump off. That's Ziggy again picking up 4. And, you know, it's a bold strategy. Carolina is not one of the top teams in the league in sacks. Ace Fenech's only been sacked 5 times this season, 3rd fewest in the league, despite the 9th most pass attempts, which is even more impressive. Yet Carolina says, hey, we're coming after you tonight.
Yeah, and look, you can't go with what you've always gone with if you want to get out of these standings where you're at. So you're going to have to do some unconventional things, or things that are unexpected.
Ace dropping a throw, looking around, going to take off and run, and Ace has the first down, puts his shoulder down to move the sticks.
I love the quick decision-making, Cam. There wasn't any hesitation by the quarterback. He felt the pressure from behind. I don't know how he saw it, the eyes in the back of his head, but he felt that pressure and took off and knew that he had just enough to get the first down.
To be fair, Skylar Dawson is a quite large fella.
Yeah, but that helmet doesn't have eyes in the back of it, man, and he was gone.
First down for Ace. This time he can't get away. Carolina overwhelms Ace in the pocket, and Mojo McClain gets the sack.
Yeah, it looked like ants on an anthill. Everybody coming at once. All these blue jerseys just infiltrated. And, man, there might have been 3 or 4 of the Carolina defense that were able to get that sack if he didn't.
Just the 8th sack for Mojo McClain in 7 seasons. It was his first of this season. Carolina fakes, bringing pressure from one way and brings it from the next. That's Dawson getting the takedown, and a timeout is called by Pittsburgh for Dawson. That is his first sack of his career.
I have a theory about these kinds of games. In a series, we can see an entire positional group just take over a series suddenly, and this defensive line has done that.
4 wide for Fenech. Fenech drops to throw, throws an interception. Carolina's defense comes up monster, and Shravan Prasad, who used to have the mantra of not having hands anywhere near enough to make interceptions, continues a stellar couple of seasons on defense.
Yeah, an excellent job. Wow, what a great job there by Prasad to come away with that ball. Again, I think the pressure of that defensive line and maybe seeing a little bit, some ghosts out there. Fenech having back-to-back sacks and then having to come up with a critical 3rd down, and he makes a mistake once again.
Prasad's first interception this season. He had 21 in his first 16 seasons, but Carolina is finding new ways to generate some buzz here tonight with 1:01 to go in the first half. The handoff goes to Quintero, running right to the 29, and it looks like Carolina, maybe with that momentum from the defensive stop, says, hey, we're just going to run this out and take it to the half.
Well, you certainly don't want to make a mistake on your side of the field on this side, right? Because a mistake means points for Pittsburgh. It is a bit conservative, and you are down 4. But look, it doesn't mean that one of these playmakers in your backfield can't bust open for a big play, and suddenly you're in scoring position.
Handoff to Ike McBride, running left, and that picks up the first down to the 37-yard line. People asking about Hronek's targets. 8 for 136 here tonight on 11 targets. I got the target master right with me tonight, Steve.
I know all about targets. I've had a lot of extra time to think about those targets.
I was hoping that I wouldn't have to bring it up, but I mean, it's playing out in front of us. Pajak dropping to throw. That pass is incomplete. Tight coverages. Carolina thought maybe they could have something after that long run. Flash was the intended target.
Yeah, and look, I think they're getting more out of potential field goal range for Pittsburgh, so they're getting a little bit more braver about what they do here with 22 seconds left, and maybe they're thinking about maybe possibly getting into range for a long field goal.
Bunch left here for Pajak. 3 of 9 tonight for 31 yards. Pajak rolling to his right and throws a pick. That's absolutely what you can't have happen in that situation. Tom Krieg with the pick, and now Pittsburgh with 16 seconds left and 1 timeout will probably have 1 opportunity to get into Otis Boudreau's field goal range.
If they're not right on the edge of it right now. And look, those are the kind of plays that will haunt you as a coach in this game. Like, if you lose this game by a field goal and they're able to score one here before half, you are just ripping your hair out because of a mistake like that.
Boudreau's long this season is 49. This would be from 51. What is the play here for Pittsburgh as they try to get some more points on the board? Stealing points from Carolina. Ace Fenech's pass is incomplete, but it does stop the clock with 13 seconds.
Yeah, and I think even with 13 seconds, you still try to get just a little bit closer. I don't necessarily pass the ball. I'd probably want Blitz or Churchill to try and get me a couple, maybe 2 or 3 yards, or maybe even just position the ball better for my kicker. Whether they like on the left hash or the right hash, something like that.
2nd and 10. It certainly does look like they're going that way, but they passed a lot out of power sets. Nope, they will hand it off to Churchill. That does get it inside the 30-yard line, and the Riverhogs will call timeout. I think that was smart.
Yeah, I think so. And yeah, I mean, I think they probably should have done it on the first down as well. But they were just trying to see if maybe they could probably inch closer for an end zone strike. I think the smart play.
Boudreau only 4 field goal attempts in their first 5 games. This one is from 46 yards out, and that field goal is right down the middle and just beyond the crossbar. Kick is good. 13-6 Pittsburgh, and just like you said, Stephen, if Carolina ends up losing this game by just a few points, they'll remember that sequence.
Yeah, and we saw them come out conservative on that last drive. They ran the ball. It looked like they were just going to run the clock. Got a little bit braver, a little bit bolder. But again, you mentioned it going into that interception play. Their quarterback, Pajak, just 3 of 9, so it hasn't been a lot of success through the air. and it bit them there for points.
Carolina on the return. You know, Ike McBride also now joining us in the stats truck, and I wonder if daylight savings time caught her. Threw her for a loop after the clocks moved forward. I certainly didn't know it was going to happen until it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I thought I was good, and then it was 4, and then I felt kind of sorry for myself.
I kind of discovered if you're not living in the 1980s, and most of these clocks change themselves. but if the delay of an hour had cost her at this very moment, she's been going like the last day and a half behind everyone else.
Who wouldn't want to live back in the 80s? We lived in the 80s earlier.
I would love it.
We went to an arcade.
We did.
It was awesome. It was sad to leave, but we had to come back to all you beautiful people to call this game. Pittsburgh's up on Carolina 13-6 at the half. Your thoughts on the first half?
Yeah, I think a game of surprisingly defense, but also I think the real point of emphasis in this game is turnover. I think turnovers have really been what has shaped the score of this game. And look, it's not much of a score, right? 13-6, low scoring first half. A lot of great defense played, a lot of great defensive pressure by both teams, and those interceptions have really turned, for the most part, a lot of those scoring plays.
Look at Roenick in the first half, 8 for 136 and a touchdown. He has been phenomenal. Eddie Gage in the chat saying the clocks move forward. They're just so quirky. They all they have is concrete and no daylight savings time. Plant some trees with all that extra
Eddie,
time you're saving.
When you're late, now you don't have anything to blame. You know what I mean? You can't blame that the clocks.
He'll find something to blame. There's no question about it. Certainly the schedule that I give him every year. He hates that.
We all do, Cam. It's not just him.
And this is the perfect time for him to say, yeah, Detroit next week. I can't believe what you did to me. Start of the second half, Pittsburgh 13 and Carolina 6. You look at the first half numbers there. Pretty even, 198 to 142 in favor of Pittsburgh, but it was just that critical moment right before the half that widened the score out just a little bit.
Yeah, it did, and that could be the difference in this game, as I said before. But look, it has been the mistakes that have really defined both of these teams early on, and now let's see if they can maybe turn those mistakes into points and really get us going here on a Monday night.
Golly, Mark Lopez in the chat. Hello, fellow sighted people. Such a dig at the blind community. I don't understand what he's getting at there. Riley Quintero picks up 4, 2nd and 6.
I think he's saying he's blessed with the sight today, as
Perhaps.
well as all of us.
Perhaps.
And regardless of what's happening on his screen, just happy to be here.
13-6, Pittsburgh on top of Carolina. A pair of 1-4 teams. Stephen Mullinex, Cameron Irvine here with you. Ike McBride, Ray Colston, and Ron Haynes in the stats truck. McBride's got a first down. Ike's 9th carry for 31 yards. Not a bad start here tonight for Ike.
Yeah, and grinding it out. They have not been easy yards for Ike McBride. They have been tough, powerful yards. I think that's what this team expects from her, and she has been, for the most part, delivering. Although, man, it's been a tough Pittsburgh defensive front to face.
First down for Carolina. Off of Ike's run, another draw here to Quintero. Will pick up a couple of yards. They're sticking with that to start the second half. That can kind of tell the tale on the game plan as well. Dubois Smith coming up to make another tackle against the run.
And look, Carolina, even though they're down 7 here, still the third quarter, still early on in this game. A lot of time left, staying within their game plan, running the football.
2nd and 8, handoff McBride, the red shoed wonder over to the 38-yard line, and 3rd and 3. Again, coming up for Carolina. The Skyhawks so far tonight just 2 of 6 on 3rd down, despite them being 3rd and reasonable.
They're 3rd and 3, it seems like multiple times every drive. It's like they're good enough to get right up to it, and then they struggle to get over the line.
And they've really struggled to get the 3 yards on the ground, and they've stuck with the run on 3rd down, and Quintero won't get it either. It's almost like Pittsburgh recognizes you will not throw on 3rd and short. We're selling out, and Dubois Smith makes another 3rd down play.
Yeah, and I'm afraid that it's going to have to take more time off the clock for Carolina to actually change this strategy and start looking to the air just a little bit more to help alleviate some of the pressure that the rushing offense feels on 3rd down.
But at the same time, Pajak's only completed one pass to a receiver tonight, 2 completions to Bravado out of the backfield, but Adam Banks is the only receiver with a catch tonight for 19 yards.
Well, that's the thing. You've got a young quarterback under center. You've got a new offensive coordinator. They're still feeling things out in this league. And trust me, as someone who came in this league a long time ago and has had to learn two different kind of games and different ways in the playbook. And then, of course, we're all tackling the new things that pop up every season. It ain't easy. And it takes time. And some of that is just trial and error.
Pittsburgh certainly more built now for a passing offense, and we've seen that out of them tonight. 21 passes to 12 runs for the Riverhogs. They have a 13-6 lead, 7:42 to go in the third. Fennick, three-step drop, this time a clean pocket. He just takes the underneath route. That's Ziggy again. Seems to be the only guy open right now for Pittsburgh.
I know the feeling, man, but but you've got to spread that pill around. There's just no way around it, and that includes into your backfield as well. Like, you've got to get everybody as much as you can involved, or that defense or the league is going to bite you.
Ben Fulls in the chat as Churchill nearly has a first down. What did I find, says Ben Fulls. So welcome to the broadcast. Ben, I don't know where you've been the last 13 years, but we've been right here in this seat calling football games. If you're new to the Simulation Football League, welcome. The SFL is football for everyone. Get off the sideline and start your player today by joining our Discord server at simfl.net as Ace Fennick takes the quarterback keeper and gets a first down. Click the Join the Community button and begin your career, or just to meet the stars of the SFL on and off the field. It's never too late to get involved. Steven, you got involved season 5?
Season 5. And we're in season 26 now. Give you an idea. 2 seasons a year, so it's not as long as you might think it is. But it's still a long time ago.
The Dallas Law back in the day.
Dallas Law, yes.
Fennick, Ziggy, first down to the 31-yard line, and Pittsburgh continues to fire down the football field, trying to extend their lead.
Yeah, and look, 13 is always just, it's been clutch all game long. Single coverage there with the safety dropping down, but still it doesn't matter. The connection between quarterback and his old trusty number 13 has been near flawless tonight. Unfortunately, it hasn't resulted in a ton of points as of yet.
First down and 10. As Ace drops to throw, looking, pass is incomplete. One-on-one coverage. Roenick was tightly blanketed by Tristan Hatley.
Yeah, again, the quarterback here just being laser focused on his one target that he's been trusting all night tonight. Would just love it. I'm sure the Pittsburgh team as a whole are saying, yeah, let's spread the love out a little bit here. Let's see who else we can get involved, because you're keying on maybe on one target. The defense might be keying in on that.
Second down and 10. Ace dropping a throw, doesn't take the underneath. Instead, it's Roenick again. First down to the Carolina 14-yard line, and until the Skyhawks can get a stop here on Ziggy, Pittsburgh is cruising right now offensively.
Yeah, I mean, and Fennick, again, I think just eyeballing 13 the entire time, despite the 3 defenders around him in a triangle shape. It doesn't matter. The window is just huge between the quarterback and receiver right now.
5:26 to go in the third quarter. Can Carolina find an answer? That's a handoff to BB Belitz. He finds a body to discard, and that picks up 4.
And this is what you need down here inside the 20 like this. You need to have an established running game. I really do feel that, Cam. Because as you get down here and that defense is collapsed by the end zone, they just stuff that end zone with defenders.
Heavy look here for Pitt. They're going to toss it out to Churchill. He's got some space, breaks a tackle, and then drags Mike Ryan into the end zone for a touchdown. Pittsburgh up by 2 scores.
And I really, despite being up 7, I really feel they needed that, right? They needed to get their running game going. They needed to be able to run the ball this successfully in the red zone. And you love to see the broken tackle. And then on top of that, Churchill able to really give the defender a ride into the end zone, showing a lot of power, showing a lot of speed and dominance. And I think, Pittsburgh's really taking a stranglehold of this game.
20-6 Pittsburgh. I think we're seeing 2 teams right now that even coming out of the second half break, they really haven't shown us a lot different. That we've got 2 teams struggling to find a little diversity tonight. It's just that Pittsburgh's is working better and more effectively than Carolina's game on third and short, especially.
Yeah, and it feels like, despite the mistakes by Fennick, there's a trust in him. There's a trust in his arm that it will push them through his mistakes. and then throw in now, the success of the running game there at the end of that drive. I think that's a great combination. Whereas Carolina, I'm not so sure they trust their passer as much.
How about as they run a draw to Quintero, how about the Pittsburgh offensive line on that last drive, making a lot of adjustments up front and kept Ace clean? That made all the difference.
The previous drive, right? All those sacks, the pressure on the quarterback causing the interception. And then we had none of that this past drive. He felt, again, when he is comfortable in the pocket, there's not many like him.
Going back as Quintero is going to set up another 3rd and short. Going back to Pajak, I don't think they've thrown since his interception. It's almost like he has a very short leash right now in Carolina, and as soon as he makes a mistake, they just yank him out of the game.
I think the success of their running game gets them in 3rd and short situations where they don't feel like they need to pass.
Ike in the backfield on 3rd and 1. She will pick up the 1st and more. McBride around the left side of the 39-yard line, moving those chains.
And it's just the thing about a rushing heavy game plan is it takes that time off the clock, right? It makes the game fly by, but it also squeezes down those accelerating opportunities. And when you're down 14 points, you need every opportunity you can have to get your offense to get you back in this game.
3:42 to go in the 3rd quarter. Can Carolina find something through the air? Pajak looking down the middle, caught, 1st down. Chris Curtis needed that for the confidence. Curtis's 1st catch of the night, just the 2nd catch by a receiver this evening, and he wants the crowd to get louder.
Yeah, and I was like, yes, finally, and not necessarily because I'm rooting for one team or the other, but just to say, finally, something clicks for them through the air. It's been so long in this game, and to find a nice, clean 1st down conversion through the air for Carolina might be the thing they need here to break this coma that they've been in that's limited their scoring.
16th in the league in passing yards, not terrible. 1st down for the Skyhawks, and Pajak will check that short, turning the corner and getting near a 1st down. That is picked up by Jack Flash on his 2nd target and 1st catch. Carolina's number 1 in the league in 3rd down attempts at 13.6.
Wow.
I could see that with the 3rd and shorts that they've got going on.
Yes.
2nd and 1. Pajak 2 in a row as they'll hand off to the fullback to Bravado. 1st down to the Pittsburgh 30-yard line. A little wrinkle from Carolina moves the chains.
And I love it when you get the big fella rumbling there on 3rd and 1. I mean, look at what they're able to do, destroy you. If you had the feeling that if even there was a defender in the hole, that he was going to absolutely destroy them to get that 1st down.
Bunch left side. Carolina is on the move, and they're taking a lot of time off the clock, shortening this game as Riley Quintero will pick up 5 yards. This is kind of what they did week 1 against your Dragons. You guys had the lead, but Carolina just kept it close with this ground and pound offense.
Yeah, and again, we've seen those, like a lot of those 3rd and 1s, 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s, and they just find themselves in those situations. It's just a matter of they convert them consistently.
2nd and 5. McBride. Bowls over a defender, and it's then wrapped up 2 yards short of the stick. So a 3rd down and 2. They average 13.6 3rd downs a game. This is their 9th.
I really do like what Carolina has done on this series. Even with their quarterback, he gets that 1st completion, and they kind of throw a bit of one to the outside of the tight end just to build up his confidence. I like that.
3rd and 2. Handoff. Quintero 1st down, bouncing off tackles and then shoved forward to the Pittsburgh 14-yard line. Another 1st down for Carolina.
And this plays, and boy, I don't want to jinx it, but this plays in the Skyhawks' hands, right? Now they're inside the 15-yard line. This is where you do want to be successful if possible running the ball the closer you get to the end zone.
Both teams 12 1st downs in the game. A minute to go in the 3rd quarter. Handoff. Ike breaking off the 1st tackle. Look at the block outside. Expertly done by Chase Earl to allow Ike to get 6 around the edge.
And she was one stiff arm away from scoring a touchdown. Good job getting hit in the backfield and breaking that tackle. That looked like it was going to be a loss all day long, but she powered through and nearly got to the end zone.
Not only was Earl holding the block, but shoving the defender forward as well. Quintero, weak side handoff, touchdown, Carolina. The Skyhawks are in the end zone for the 1st time tonight.
Yeah, that's and playing their kind of ball they played all night tonight, right? Which is running the football, converting those short 3rd downs. But they threw in, Cam, as a difference. They threw in, and I keep hitting you because you're right here.
It's nice, isn't it?
They threw in some successful pass plays that I think made the quarterback a little bit more comfortable. And I think we're going to need to see that if they're going to get back into this game fully. Is they're going to need to better mix that pass and run.
I want to hit Charles so many times during a broad for various reasons.
Yeah.
But
it just I mean, workers going to want to hit.
It just. Why do you want to hit it?
I don't know. He just has one of those.
You're jealous that he. You're jealous that he took over your
That's
spot.
right. I only get to do this for one night, and it's not fair.
30 seconds to go in the third quarter. Pittsburgh and Carolina making this night memorable as we got a one-score game heading into the fourth. This is Britton on the return and will just barely reach the 30-yard line. That technically is his longest return of the night, but they've all been pretty close. Fenech, 14 of 25, 208 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. 172 of his 208 passing yards tonight have gone to Ziggy Hronek, and we've been talking about potentially getting other people involved, but we also just haven't gotten to talk about how great Ziggy has been tonight for Pittsburgh.
I think it's been pretty obvious. I mean, the guy's been the number one target and probably the best player on the field on both sides, either team. But again, I think if you're Carolina here, right, the formula is pretty clear. You've got to make Fenech uncomfortable in the pocket. You've been able to do that earlier in the night. That has resulted in a couple of turnovers. I think that's the key for them. As for Pittsburgh, we're going to need to see what we saw on the last drive from you, which is, again, consistency in the passing game is great. You need to mix in that running game, especially as you get closer and closer there to the end zone.
Ace drops to throw. Wide open. I mean, he's out there.
Yeah.
There's nobody guarding him first down.
No excuse in the world for that. This guy has been targeted multiple times tonight. He's the quarterback's favorite target. And the defender gets absolutely fooled on that double move.
Golly, that was a great double move. And I don't know what it is about Ziggy, but the last time he had this amount of receiving yardage was March 10th of last year. 364 days ago, he went for 250 and 2 touchdowns. End of the third quarter, Pittsburgh 20. Well, we should just say Hronek 20, Carolina 13. We're here on the Monday Night Spectacular. Ike McBride, Rochelle Colston, Ron Haynes in our stats truck. Stephen Mullinex in studio, our guest broadcaster tonight. Happy to have him with me. I am Cameron Irvine, as you already know. As we start the fourth quarter of play, Fenech looking for someone to get open, and that is incomplete. Looking down the field for Deuce Fenech. Harrison was targeted earlier in the drive as well. Couldn't find him either. Ryan almost had a pick. I mean, Carolina has literally done a phenomenal job on every other receiver tonight except Ziggy.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh's offensive line gave him all the time in the world on that previous play there to find anybody that he wanted to, just not finding anyone open.
High formation here for Ace. 2nd and 10, dropping a throw. Fenech dumps it underneath. That pass goes for 7 yards to set up a 3rd down and 3. That puts Ziggy over 200 for the first time in 364 days.
Amazing. And look, it's just, as you said, 20 Ziggy, right? To 13 Carolina. It perfectly sums it up. I don't know if this is a difficult decision here. What they're going to do in 3rd and 3.
3rd and short for Ace. This is Carolina's territory, not Pittsburgh. Play action. Fenech all day. Time running out. Fenech across the field. Pass is caught, and what a hit just before the line. Deuce Fenech with the reception, and Carolina makes a monster stop, I think, short of field goal range.
I think all the credit to Carolina's defense for sniffing that out. Another power formation. It looks clearly like they're going to run the ball, but we've seen them pass out of that formation before in this game. I think Carolina sniffed that out and had that perfectly covered.
So under 9 to go, Carolina can run their normal offense. This punt to the sideline, pretty expertly done there by Ida Lee to the 17. Krieg, who has an interception in the game, makes that tackle. So Carolina will get the ball with 8:52 left. We mentioned Friday and Monday schedule. We return Saturday. DC at Minnesota is a big one. Florida, the red-hot Florida Storm, winners of 3 in a row at Pittsburgh. Next time we're here, Houston at Mexico City, a big-time rivalry game as Bravado's dropped for a loss. And then Albuquerque, Washington, 2 teams that may be expected to be in a little bit of a better position so far this season, but the West is wide open.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the parity in this league, it seems to always get better and better for the most part, right? And we're just amazed at the competitiveness. And well, for me, one of the things that amazes me, Cam, is some of it more, even that doesn't get talked about much, is the consistent team. How they've been able to remain consistent, even through, all the playbook changes, all the game maybe changes, and then these top teams are still able to stay consistent. I think they're super talented and good at what they do.
3rd and 5. Pajak's got a throw, and it's caught down the sideline. Adam Banks with the spin. Banks still firm, still going all the way to the 25-yard line up Pittsburgh. And Kane Vasquez hurt on the back end of the play. Oh, double whammy.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is one of those areas where one player can absolutely bust this game wide open. And, man, Adam Banks there with not just a great catch, but, man, the receiving yards after the catch, it's almost like he turned into a running back as soon as he caught the ball and went from wide receiver to running back. And he looked like, I don't know, it just looked like, I want to say old names like Gale Sayers, but I don't think anybody will know who that is.
Pajak looking for Banks again. That is incomplete. That was Banks' longest catch since 4 weeks ago. He had a 71-yarder against Houston in that victory. So certainly a big play threat. They finally were able to get him the football tonight.
Well, going back to that previous play, Cam, I mean, I think that's a glimpse of the future what this Carolina team can be.
Yep.
And if we saw it more tonight, this game would have been even they might be in the lead at this point. So yeah, there's I think more than just a glimmer of hope for them.
Oh, Pajak tried to dump that off to Quintero after he got a chip block. He was not ready for that. Now it's 3rd and long.
Yeah, and then that inconsistency rears its ugly head again, right? And you're like, wow, how can one player or one play happen like this on one play and the next play? Again, I think it's just the consistency and getting down to getting the plays that you love and then more consistent.
6 of 15 for 107. Pajak on a rollout, had to get rid of it, and it's caught by Chase Earl. 1st and goal at the 5, and he had to put his body on the line for that one.
Yeah, look, and he knows what's on the line in this game to make that play. It's 3rd down. You need a conversion there. Quarterback, again, runs out of the pocket, and you know you're going to get hit by a defender, but you know also you got to come down with this. Your team desperately needs it. They got to score here.
Rochelle Colston, 9 tackles and a pick. Corey Menner, 9 tackles. Doug Day, 8 tackles are your defensive leaders on both sides of the ball here tonight. Quintero gets the run for 1. That Quintero, again, quietly, 106 rushing yards tonight for 21 carries.
Yeah, I mean, he's done it in kind of in spurts, from here and there, and been being mixed into the game plan with McBride. Again, that speed and power, but yeah, that's surprising me, over 100 already.
At the 3, Ike McBride, touchdown Carolina, and we've got a 1-point game. McBride gets a touchdown to go with Riley's.
And it has been their script all night here to really be run game heavy, and it has served them well in the red zone. And look, they've needed some, in these plays here where they've actually gotten to the end zone here in the second half, it's been on the back of some big plays through the receiving game. And so that's really the missing piece and the missing ingredient here is those impactful plays to the passing game, and then let the run game do its thing. It has.
Brown's extra point is good, and just like that, we're tied at 20 as the people that took the over are starting to salivate. 6:55 to go in the 4th.
Talking about Rochelle Colston, can we give her a nickname, the Toxic Avenger? Does that sound right? Rochelle, let us know. Let us know if that sounds good as a nickname for you.
Coming soon to a theater near you.
The Toxic Avenger.
I wonder if Marvel would pick that up. Here's an updated look at your team stats. Carolina now more yards than Pittsburgh, 322 to 289. Carolina averages 320 yards of offense this season. Pittsburgh, coincidentally, 318, so right around those same marks. Now it's up to Fennick and the rest of this offense. Fumble! It is scooped back up by Fennick, who wisely gets on the ball after Churchill coughed it up a loss of 4.
Wow, just another reason to why you pay those quarterbacks big contracts to be Johnny on the spot in those kind of situations, Cam. That would have blown the game wide open if Carolina was able to get it this close to the end zone.
2nd down and 14. Ace Looking deep, caught Ben Harrison. He's been trying to connect on that deep ball all night to Ben. He finally was able to deliver Harrison's first catch of the game.
And I feel like I'm praising the quarterback way too much sometimes, but I have got to do it
Woo.
again. He delivered this ball despite his own offensive lineman getting pushed back into him. I honestly don't know how he got that pass away.
Churchill in the backfield, 7 carries, 32 yards and a touchdown, and that fumble 2 plays ago. 6 minutes to go in the fourth. Ben Harrison bails him out. Harrison in the first 3 weeks led the league in touchdowns, and then he kind of disappeared for a couple weeks. Huge catch right there. Fennec over the middle on a little in cut. That's Ziggy again, picking up 4.
And that, that's really replaced probably what they would normally, or a team would normally get in the running game. Like first down, second down, you're getting 3, 4, 5 yards to the passing game. Just puts you in better position, especially here on second down.
2nd down and 6, 5.5 to go. Toss play, Churchill breaking off a tackle, and Mike Churchill this time is going to get Pittsburgh down to 3rd and inches with 5:20 to go. 2 1-4 teams tied at 20. The win is on the line right here.
And is it this power formation, the jumbo formation we're going to see again? Are they going to pass out of it like they've done previously in the game, or are they going to run through it?
Wheeler the fullback, sidecar left. And he's going to be a lead blocker for B.B. Belitz, who's got the first down. Belitz's 5th carry of the night, his most important one as the drive continues for the Riverhogs.
Yeah, and that's just, I think it's great. 3rd and inches, you don't need much. Trust your big back to barrel through anything that he sees in front of him in order to get that first down.
4:40 to go. The question is, how much time will Carolina have when they get the ball back? Pittsburgh just outside of field goal range. They're going to hand off on a little trap. That's Churchill, a lot of space, picking up 9 yards.
You know what I like, Cam, is they're not looking for old number 13 here. They've done it all game long, but now a bit of a softer strategy. Let's take up some of this clock. Let's run the ball. Let's not give Carolina any time to hit another one of those big strikes potentially against us and score on us again.
Toss, and Rochelle was all over it, slowing down Churchill, or Belitz rather, in the backfield. Eventually McLean on his 6th tackle comes in to clean it up. Another 3rd down for Pittsburgh. They are 8 of 12.
Toxic Avenger comes in with that nice little near tackle into the backfield, delays the running back just enough.
3rd and 2. Fennec going to take it himself. Oh, they marked him for a first down. That was so close.
Yeah, a real bang-bang play, Cam. They're not going to challenge that. They're going to give, I think it was close enough. They thought, let's keep our timeout just in case here.
McLean was a heat-seeking missile on that play, but Ace Fennec gets just enough for the first, dumps it off. Ziggy again left open, picking up 8 yards, 3:10 to go in the 4th, and the clock continues to run.
And I'm still amazed at how Fennec is able to see around some of these offensive linemen. There, the far right tackle getting pushed back into him and still able to side arm it to his favorite target tonight.
Winner goes to 2-4 and feels a lot better going into the midseason break. 2nd and short, toss play, Churchill almost got a block but broke a tackle anyway. Churchill dragging defenders all the way down to the 1-yard line.
And this is working out perfectly for Pittsburgh. This is exactly what they wanted, right? Put the ball into their running back, Churchill here. Not only are they taking time off the clock, but now they're right on the edge of scoring a touchdown, potentially putting this game out of reach.
At the 1-yard line, 11 for 61 for Churchill. Belitz in the backfield. 2:23 to go. Carolina with all 3 timeouts, preserving them when they get the football back. Could Fennec sneak it? No, Fennec going to drop back throw. It's not a touchdown. How is that not a touchdown? Did Britton catch that?
It looks like one to me. Maybe he didn't.
Maybe he dropped.
I thought he was in bounds if he did catch it.
That is maybe that's a makeup call for the potential quarterback sneak first down. Now Pittsburgh likely to run here. 2:13 to go. Toss play, Churchill, and he won't get in. It's 3rd and goal. What a goal line stand for Carolina as we hit the 2-minute warning. Pittsburgh 20, Carolina 20. We got a photo finish in Raleigh tonight on the Monday Night Spectacular. What is the chat saying? they thought that maybe he scored two.
Big Cam, let's not forget here, there was a fumble that was off a run here that Fennick was able to get on top of.
3rd and goal to the 1. Fennick going to snake it. Fennick not going to get in. Touchdown saved by, I think, big number 94 up front. The defensive tackle, Sebastian Rogers, not even a contract for the man, and he gets the goal line stand to force a chip shot field goal.
And how much now does that first down, non-called touchdown come into play?
Wow, Boudreaux, chip shot good, 23-20. And my, oh my, what a missed opportunity for Pitt, but an incredible stop for the Carolina Skyhawks defense, who now has the opportunity, the possibility for Mikael Pajak to go down the field and get a victory. The last time that Carolina won a game by a single score, good return here to the 32, was back in Week 5 last season against Denver. And you know what the final score of that game was?
The same as this.
23-20. Carolina with the win. Lili Nakai on that return.
Well, we've seen a different kind of Carolina offense here in the second half of this game. Only scored 6 in the first half, scored 14 in the second. Some awesome pass plays and a steady run game. As time allowed them to have this running game the way that they've had in previous successful series, I don't know. They may really throw the ball a little bit more here.
Quintero's going to run. I think Carolina wants to be the last team to have it at the 5. Now we have Haynes' vision tonight. Ron Haynes saying that Britton dropped the ball in the end zone, so maybe that was a good call. And then that looks like a first down to us, the zoom in on Fennick at the sticks on that 3rd down run. So I think the refs got both right. Hand off to Ike McBride around the right side, and she'll pick up 2 to set up a 3rd down and 3. That is Genko on the tackle.
And they're going to need to find some urgency here at some point, but they're going to go for it on 4th down regardless what happens on this down if they don't get past the first down marker. So maybe they think they have more time than I feel like they do.
Playing for the tie, perhaps, not trying to get the ball all the way down the field for a game-winning touchdown. 3rd down and short, handoff Quintero, breaking a tackle, Quintero down to the 47-yard line, and now Carolina certainly has an opportunity to get into field goal range. 46 seconds and counting. They do still have all 3 timeouts. They'll likely take their first one after this play.
Very relaxed, so far as how I would describe this offensive approach.
Always makes people nervous. McBride on the draw, 2nd and 8, and there's the timeout. And now Carolina will show that urgency.
Yeah. And again, like you said, only need a field goal to tie this ball game up, potentially sending into overtime. Wow, what a Monday night game.
Can you imagine having the over-under 50.5 and we get to 46 and go to overtime? what Jack's dad always knows their stuff. We'll see what happens here. Pajak going to throw. Pajak's pass caught into field goal range. 28 seconds. No timeouts, or 2 timeouts rather. They want to preserve them. Down to 23-22. Pajak going to roll to his right. Mikael caught. Down to the 20, down to 15. And Carolina has an opportunity to potentially win the game here. But I'm surprised they're not using the timeouts. Pajak, 8 seconds. Spiked it with 7. Oh, my head hurts. My head hurts, Steven.
It falls back to, I think, maybe an inexperienced quarterback in those kind of situations in the big leagues. But regardless, it's his arm and a couple of just terrific throws that have gotten this opportunity, and they are kicking a field goal. They are giving up potential win right here.
Malone Brown from 32 yards away. I do have a counter to the potential win, though, that we'll get to in a moment, as Malone Brown's kick is up and good, and we are tied at 23 as Carolina plays it safe to take it to overtime. Next score wins. You're relying on a coin flip, but I remember a particular game, Stephen Mullinex, of the DC Dragons. They were playing the Baltimore Vultures. Remember, you were in field goal range. You had a chance to tie, but instead Synergy went for the win, threw the pick. And it's like, what are we doing?
And I do it again. Let me tell you what. No, well, my point was 7 seconds. I feel like that's enough.
I agree.
To give you one shot. Give me one shot. You know, give Pajak has looked good on this series throwing the ball. Let his strong arm and you know, give it at least a chance. But I get it. They're playing it safe. They want to take this to overtime, but you're leaving it to a coin flip potentially.
Both teams have 18 first downs. Pittsburgh averaging 5.8 yards a play. Carolina 5.7. Pittsburgh throws for some ungodly reason. Now we're going to overtime. 374 for Carolina, 368 for Pittsburgh, and we're tied at 23. You just can't beat the Monday Night Spectacular. Stephen Mullinex picked a good one. We're all knotted up at 23 between the Riverhogs and the Skyhawks. Ike McBride, Rochelle Colston, Ron Haynes in the stats truck. Let's see who wins the coin toss. Pittsburgh's choosing heads. Stephen Mullinex here, along with me, Cameron Irvine. $10 super chat for Mark Lopez. We'll get to it in a minute, but the coin toss is won by Pittsburgh, and that's why you don't leave it to chance. Now the Riverhogs just need a field goal to win. First score wins. Mark Lopez, $10 super chat. Overtime, here we come. Like that button. Tell your mom to like the video. Tell your kids to like the stream. Very demanding out of Mark Lopez.
All caps. Get it done.
Authoritarian.
Yeah.
It's the eye patch. It's probably an eye patch.
Pirate vibe.
From the 3-yard line. Get well soon, Mark. Oh, this is a kick return from Britton. Past the 30, all the way to the 38-yard line. Terrific field position for Pittsburgh on their best kick return of the night.
Yeah, and look, if you're looking for a spark in overtime, there's none better than a great kickoff return, and by one of the best ones in the league. And look, this just puts them in prime position. Actually, coming into this game, right? Pittsburgh in the league, they average the third best field position in the SFL, and one of the reasons why are kickoff returns like that.
We haven't had the best slate here in week number 6. Now I'm losing track. Seven? Week number 7 of the SFL, but boy, we got a good one to send us into the midseason break. Ace Fennick's going to drop to throw. That one, I think, was deflected at the line of scrimmage, perhaps. Palmer was in coverage.
Well, he surely was being in the middle of being tackled there, sacked, as he threw the ball away. And that's what Carolina's bread and butter has been tonight. That's when they've given him an opportunity, really, allowed him to make mistakes, is when he feels that pressure.
20 of 36 for 282 for Ace Fennick. Dropping a throw again. That pass is caught one-handed. Doug Britton down to the Carolina 48-yard line.
Yeah, that's clutch right there, boy. Gets them into enemy territory. And again, Fennick, I think, even despite all the action around him, feeling very comfortable in that pocket right now. And that's the opposite of what you want to do if you're Carolina, because now the defense really needs to tighten up. Just a good, 15 yards away from potential field goal range.
Tough spot for Carolina's defense to be in. A quick throw to the outside. Again, the pressure unblocked, forced that quick pass. Ziggy, the target again. Now it's 2nd and 10.
And look, it feels like all the pressure's on Carolina, right? But Pittsburgh's feeling that pressure too. One mistake by Pittsburgh here could cost them this game.
And Pittsburgh's got Florida their next outing, so it kind of feels a little bit more important there for the Riverhogs as Fennick's pass is caught at the 29-yard line, and it would not be anyone else tonight. Ziggy with the first down for Pittsburgh, and that may have just sealed this game.
The set of people you don't want to be right now are the coaches for Carolina. They made the decision to go for that field goal and send it into overtime, and now, wow, Pittsburgh is really on the cusp, unless they make a mistake here, on the cusp of winning this game.
309 yards for Ace Fennick tonight. He has been pretty darn good, besides a couple overthrows deep. And now Pittsburgh, they just have to avoid a potential disaster as they toss it out to Churchill, who did fumble earlier, but he does pick up 4 more yards.
And I like the play. I like the more conservative part of this. Let's put it into our running backs. Yes, we've lost the football once today, but look, we just don't want to take any maybe more chances through the air, although they've proven to us they'll pass when we think they're gonna run the ball.
Back-to-back 300-yard games for Ace Fennick. That is the 4th time he's done that in his career. BB Blitz, look at the toss all the way down to the 13-yard line, and Pittsburgh on the opening drive of overtime showing their guts.
And look at the blockers here. That's really the highlight of this play. It's almost as if those Pittsburgh blockers really took the soul out of Carolina's defense on this series.
And now they're just going to kick from 30 yards out. Pittsburgh for the win Oh, it's going. He missed it. He missed the chip shot field goal. Are you kidding me?
That should never happen.
From 30 yards away, Otis Boudreau misses just his 15th miss in 12 seasons, and it was from 30 yards out.
But look, it's one of the most high-pressure situations any player can be in, and much less a kicker, but you just don't expect a veteran like him to miss something like that.
Whoa, so Carolina now with some momentum. Mikael Pajak's pass is caught by Earl, but only for a yard as he had to come back for it. And how about Cain Vasquez checking back in the game from an earlier injury?
Wow. Yeah, just putting it out there on the line. Might still be hurt, but coming out here to play overtime because that's how they need him. The team needs him.
2nd and 9, tied at 23 in overtime. The final game before the midseason break as Adam Banks goes in motion for Pajak. Pajak now 10 of 19 for $163. They'll give it to Quintero. A lot of space. 3rd and 2. Here we go.
I mean, I think it's a contractual type thing. They've got to get 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 2s. Don't see a lot of 3rd and 1s, 3rd and inches. It's like 2 or 3 yards. But they believe in their running game. And I think for the most part, they've been proven right in a lot of these situations to trust it.
7 of 12 on 3rd down tonight. They've had 3 third down attempts in every quarter. Now in overtime, Mike McBride, 1st down around the left side of the 36-yard line.
Yeah, look, when your offensive line and your blockers do such a great job that you go untouched past that 1st down marker, man, just the sigh of relief by the coaches on the sidelines. Like, okay, that's our first obstacle. Let's go through maybe 10 more of these so we can end this game.
It's our 5th overtime game of the season and the 1st since February 14th. Pajak over the middle. That's Bravado dragging Doug Day. 1st down. Take that, Twinkie.
And a page out of Pittsburgh's book that we've seen tonight where they'll throw those short little drag routes or those short little in routes to get quick yards. The difference there, though, Bravado with the power and the speed to push past the 1st down mark.
6 minutes left in the 1st overtime. We play until we have a winner. Draw. That is Quintero picking up 5. Quintero now at 131 on the evening.
Cam, I'm sorry. I can't stay for the entire game, so I'm going to head out. It's gone just a little bit too long for me. I'm contractually, I'm only coming to the 5-minute mark, so yeah. It's getting pretty late for me.
2nd and 5 for Carolina. First score wins here in the SFL overtime. And off McBride pushing forward for a 1st down. That was Dubois Smith taken for a ride.
Yeah, and you feel like almost the defender there didn't do himself any favors by pulling a wrestling move and pulling her over him into past the 1st down mark.
If this game doesn't prove just how tough it is to get a win in the SFL, I don't know what does. 2 1-4 teams trying to make it happen. Quintero lost a yard. That is just the 3rd negative play for the Carolina offense tonight. Monzuma's 9th tackle.
And this is the worst time to have it. Like, you've got this momentum. You need to ride this momentum, maybe 7 or 8 more yards. And to have something end with negative yardage, man, just really bad for that momentum you built up.
2nd down and long for Carolina. They've got 46 runs, 20 passes for 66 total plays tonight. Pajak drops to throw. Pajak looking. That is a pretty route from Curtis. 1st down inside the Pittsburgh 30, and now the pressure starts to shift to Malone Brown.
And let's not forget, folks, all right, the only reason we're here right now is because of a missed field goal that was only 30 yards out. So even though Carolina's in field goal range, there's absolutely no reason to celebrate or count your eggs before those chickens hatch because we've already seen a missed field goal in this overtime period.
4:08 to go in overtime. 2 receivers far side right, and Pajak going to hand it off to Quintero. That is a pickup of 4 yards. And remember, Pittsburgh did not have to kick that field goal from 30 yards. They just thought it was automatic. Could Carolina suffer the same fate?
We thought it was automatic too. You're on the opposite side of the field, so you're getting different wind. There's going to be a different condition, so I'm not quite sure how Carolina's going to address
Maybe going to the right if if it was that far left last time, 2nd and 6. Quintero, nothing there. 3rd down and 6, it'd be about a 40-yard field goal from here.
I'm still trusting my running game. I know it's 3rd and 6. You just can't afford a mistake here. This is the game. And you really do want to be, I think, conservative here because you know you've got a field goal chance from here.
Bravado is in the backfield. 3rd and 6. Pajak gonna throw. Pajak tipped and incomplete. So now from 40, Malone Brown, who's only missed 13 in his career. Boudreaux had missed 14 before his last miss, and this is even more difficult from 40 yards.
Yeah, it's just who's gotten the more, I guess, calmness, not the anxiety to get this in.
Brown for the win. Got it! Carolina comes from out of nowhere and wins the game in overtime over Pittsburgh on a shocking missed chip shot. The Riverhogs are stunned at 1-5 as Carolina wins an instant SFL Classic.
And look, the happiest guys and gals that were, in this game were probably the saddest right after that overtime first drive, right? Carolina choosing to go with the field goal to tie the game up instead of going for the win at the end of the fourth to force overtime. And then they saw this incredible drive by Pittsburgh that nearly won Pittsburgh the game. And then their fortunes changed with that missed field goal. Carolina able to come down and get one of their own for the win. And I think for Pittsburgh, man, they must feel snake bit this season, right? A lot of their games this season against some of the top teams in the league, they have come down to plays in the very last minute. Like just one thing just happens. And in this case, it was a missed field goal, but it's been kind of one thing all season for them. And now, they're going into the second half of the season with just one thing.
Can you imagine Charles trying to call this game?
No.
the poor guy. I'm glad I gave him the night off. And what a win for Pajak and the rest of the Carolina Skyhawks squad. 818 total yards of offense in this game. And Carolina going into their date with Los Angeles, who was really hot at the start of the season, but has now slipped to 3-3. That is a huge game coming up in Week 9. Thanks to Ike McBride, Rochelle Colston, and Ron Haynes in our stats truck. Stephen Mullinex for joining me in ice cream soaked SFL studios. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know what happened there, but some more scolding to be done. It wasn't you. For those that don't have any context,
clean it up.
That's right. You did try, and then there was a whole
mess there.
A whole chair situation.
When a mess tries to clean a mess, you get more mess.
This game wasn't a mess. It was a phenomenal game, unless you're a Riverhog fan. Wow, what a game tonight. Carolina 26, Pittsburgh 23. We'll see you after the midseason break. Watch SFLM tomorrow. Good night, everybody.